Finish line with us as well. Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, Kurt Becker. They're calling the action in the corners for us today on the Motor Racing Network. On the pit lane in the garage area, Winston Kelly, Steve Post, Dylan Welch, and Kim Kuhn. The field works their way off turn number 4, back towards the start-finish line, and we get set, albeit a little bit late, to get the Coke Zero Sugar 400 underway.
About 17 and a half hours late, but we're green and we are underway here at Daytona. Logano on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside. Right behind him, Keselowski, Harvick, Truex, and Hamlin.
Side by side, coming up through the gearbox and onto the accelerator. Inside line gets the early break. Logano to the lead. Kevin Harvick gives him a shove. He'll follow through to second. Keselowski to the inside is third. Here comes Truex now on Kyle Busch for fourth.
The inside line begins to advance with Logano getting a huge shove from Kevin Harvick. Those two are out front all by themselves. Here's Kyle Busch trying to rally back to the outside of Brad Keselowski for third.
Here's Keselowski down low. He hooks it up along the inside lane of the racetrack. He's got help. Martin Truex Jr. right behind him, and Kevin Harvick is straight ahead off turn 4.
The inside lane is what's going to lead lap number 1 as those Mustangs gallop away from the field. It's going to be Logano. He's got a trunk full of Kevin Harvick. The inside lane goes 1-2. They're stacked up double wide from third on back.
Rebound on the outside lane is coming, though. Kyle Busch with drafting help from his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Denny Hamlin. He pulls back up into a side-by-side battle for second with Kevin Harvick as they chase Joey Logano.
Drafting has turned into shoving for the outside line as Denny Hamlin just continues to shove Kyle Busch forward. Ryan Blaney had thoughts of going up the middle. He'll back away, and it's Kyle Busch that'll go to the lead in 3.
Here's Hamlin pushing him along from the outside lane. Those teammates go 1-2. Let's see what Logano can do. Tries to rally back with help from Kevin Harvick.
You got Fords downstairs. You've got Toyotas up against the outside safer barrier. At the line, it's going to be a dead heat. Logano and Kyle Busch, but Kyle continues to get a lot of help from his teammate right behind in Denny Hamlin.
All the help he could possibly ask for. Hamlin just not locking bumpers, but pushing, then backing off, then pushing again. It is 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back through the field. It's like a high-speed pace lap at Daytona.
Until Chris Buescher steps out of line and races to the outside of Jimmy Johnson and Daniel Suarez, but Buescher has no drafting help in that third lane. Up front, Harvick again shoves Logano to the lead.
Ford flexing their muscle here early on this afternoon at Daytona. Here's Logano, the race leader. Harvick in second, Brad Keselowski the third.
Can't be too careful at the front of the field. When you get out by a couple of car lengths, that means the draft will gobble you up in a hurry. That's exactly what's happening. Logano got shoved by Harvick by 2 car lengths. The outside lane is on the charge.
On the outside lane, it's led by the outside pole sitter, Kyle Busch, then Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Martin Truex Jr. It's still wheel-to-wheel for the lead.
Still high-speed pace lap formation, double wide to the balance of at least 3/4 of the field. Kyle Busch leads the outside line. It's Joey Logano leading the inside line by a bumper.
He's got Kevin Harvick again squared up right behind him. Hamlin lines up in the outside lane behind Kyle Busch. Here's Keselowski. He stays pinned down to the bottom in 4th.
The outside lane, Kyle Busch with Denny Hamlin right behind him. You'd think those two, as tight as they are, coming through the trail over here, hooked up, could pull out to the lead. But right now, guys, they just can't get enough steam in that outside lane to overtake the bottom lane. Logano's Ford is strong, and he's muscling past everybody right now.
Not through any lack of trying, though, but that outside line, Denny Hamlin right now, if there was a piece of paper between his front bumper and Kyle Busch's rear, it would have been torn to bits in turn 1, lap 1.
But they're trying to make up all the ground they can, losing ground as it were right now. Logano out in front by himself. You got Harvick and Busch wheel-to-wheel for second.
Then Brad Keselowski 4th down to the inside. He still has help there in the form of Martin Truex Jr. Truex starts to squeeze right up behind Keselowski again.
Working back off turn number 4 and to the tri-oval last lap over 200 miles an hour. Logano, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, top 3. They're working the inside lane. They're all in Ford Mustangs to the outside. That's where we're going to find Kyle Busch. He just will not give up the outside line.
He has fallen back now into a side-by-side battle with Martin Truex Jr. for position number 4. Truex will get the advantage there by a nose off turn 2.
Meanwhile, just outside of the top 10, here comes 3-wide action as Clint Bowyer jumps up in front of Ryan Newman. They're starting to get a third lane rolling on the outside, but not enough dancers up top to propel them forward.
Trying to find a way to get more momentum momentum to the top of the 31-degree banking, working through turn number 4, but the bottom line continues to hold strong.
That's where Joey Logano has the field at bay, if only for a moment. Lap number 6 goes on the board here in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. 160 laps makes up the advertised distance today. Stage number 1 will conclude at lap number 50. Stage 2 at lap number 100, and then of course the run to the checker. So why don't we run down to pit road and find out what the strategy is going to be and what the fuel mileage situation will be for these cars today as we bring you this report presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Winston Kelly.
Well, Alex, it's important to note that the stages had been scheduled for 40, 80, and 160, increased to 50, 100, and 160. The reason being so they couldn't go that first stage on a tank of Sunoco fuel. Depending on who you talk to, it's somewhere in the mid-40s. We've heard some teams say if you're back in the draft, there's an outside chance you can go all the way to lap 50, but if you're up towards the front, you're going to be burning more Sunoco fuel. But I look for everybody to come down pit road. If it's caution-free, we could have all kind of different strategies, from coming in anywhere early on lap number 10 to as far as lap number 45. If we have a caution flag anytime during this first stage, look for everybody to come down pit road, and the majority will just get Sunoco fuel. Steve Post.
Yeah, down here when we look at this, the Sunoco fuel is one strategy. Tires, not a big strategy here. Tire fall off is not that significant here at Daytona. So 7 sets of Goodyear Racing Eagles stacked up down here in the pits. Using them will be determined by how long you're going to take to fill the car. You might put 2 on. You may go with 4 if you're looking for a full fill-up of Sunoco Racing fuel. Other stories on pit road, Dylan Welch, turn number 4 on. Dylan, what are you keeping an eye on?
Well, and Posty, especially if we've got to make green flag pit stops here, it's always tricky to get these race cars slowed down from over 200 miles an hour down to pit road speed when you transition from the banking onto the apron here at Daytona. So that'll be the big story we're keeping our eye on, and even under yellow, under caution flag stops as well, making sure you hit your marks perfectly. You don't want to lose the draft here. You don't want any delay in the pits or to have to come back down to serve a penalty. So hitting your marks, your braking points, your throttle pickup points, everything involved with getting on pit road here, a major key at Daytona.
Prepare your car for summer road trips. Before you head out, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simple preventative maintenance before you hit the road. That'll ensure a safe journey for the summer months. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
They're 3 deep, about 4 rows deep, but it's Logano at the front of the field. We're early if you are just joining us. Yeah, this was supposed to be under the lights last night. We got rained out, postponed, and we're racing now. Logano over Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and Kurt Busch. That's your top 5.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Okay, time out. You're gonna let your budget be the boss of you? Take control with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay for car insurance, and we'll help you find options that fit your budget. Here's some music to get you pumped. Da-dong, 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 dang, dang. I hear your budget laughing at you. Oh, wait, that's just those kids laughing at me. Ignore them! Da-dong, da-dong,
Progressive
da-dong.
Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Applying for a home loan can be as exhausting as running a marathon. I didn't train for while fighting hurricane force wind. But with Home Squad by Navy Federal, it's as easy as walking on the beach with a personal home loan advisor. Thanks, Jim.
Enjoy a new, easier home loan experience with Home Squad and get a personalized checklist and 24/7 loan status tracking. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Apply at NavyFederal.org. Open to the Armed Forces, DoD, veterans, and their families. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
11 down, 1:49 to go. Logano across the line right now over Kevin Harvick, Keselowski, Truex, and Kurt Busch as we continue on very early on a beautiful day for now here in Daytona Beach, Florida. It wasn't like that yesterday. It was a monsoon. Not now. Logano off turn number 2. He continues to run at the front of the field. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
NASCAR Coast to Coast on MRN.com and Motor Racing Network's Facebook. Join me, Kyle Rickey, and Hannah Newhouse as we talk with the next generation of NASCAR stars and established local and regional racers each Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time. Or subscribe, download, and listen on your favorite podcast provider. NASCAR Coast to Coast. Grassroots NASCAR racing from the Motor Racing Network.
You hear it every week.
Just want to thank the whole team and all our guys back in Denver. Everybody supports this team.
They're the unsung heroes of NASCAR, and their life is the pit. This is Rocco Williams, and for 10 years, I've jacked up some of the biggest names in auto racing, and now I'm jacked to bring it all down to street level and acquaint you with the guys behind the wall and back at the shop. Join me on MRN Crew Call, presented by Money Lion, every Wednesday on MRN.com, iTunes, or wherever podcasts are found.
Fourth of July holiday weekend celebration, NASCAR and Daytona. It is a tradition that dates back all the way to 1959, and we are at it again.
We are indeed, as we continue to work in the early stages of this Coke Zero Sugar 400 today. Joey Logano is the race leader, 13 laps in. Again, stage number 1 ends at lap number 50, and Rusty Wallish, a NASCAR Hall of Famer, joining us as he always does here on the broadcast. We're seeing the first 6 or 7 cars now go to the bottom side of the racetrack and run single file. What are your observations so far?
Well, right now what I'm seeing about every single time we come to Daytona, around lap 20 at the start of this race, that's when the tires start falling off just a little bit. The grip starts going away, and right now I think they still got good grip, but that top lane just can't seem to hang right now. Most of the guys are in the bottom of the racetrack, but it's lap 14 right now. About another 5 or 6 laps, I think they'll start spreading out maybe a little bit more, but generally, handling is an issue, and today especially. Remember, we were supposed to run this race last night. The track was much cooler. It's really hot out there right now. We just came up about 2 hours ago. It was already steamy. I can't imagine how hot it is in the race cars right now, but it's a slick racetrack they're operating on right now, Jeff and Alex. We'll just have to see how good these Goodyears hold up and how good these cars handle with all these new rules they got on them right now for the first time here at Daytona.
15 laps are complete, 35 to go until we see the green checkered flag come out. That will end stage number 1. And a lot of times, Alex Hayden, we will see the cars, when they get single file, go all the way up to the outside safer barrier. Not so fast, at least not early on here today. Logano has taken the bottom lane and used it to his advantage with Kevin Harvick and Brad running right behind and right on that double yellow line.
It's the shortest way around the racetrack is right around the bottom, and that's where Logano seems to feel the most confident right now as he continues to have Harvick and Keselowski right behind him. Truex Jr. in his Toyota is the 4th car in line, all of them at the bottom. However, they begin to go double wide through the rest of the field in that side-by-side battle for 5th. Kurt Busch is on the inside in a Chevrolet, and Kyle Busch's green and white Toyota's on the outside lane.
Kyle just keeps trying to hang in that high lane. He's got drafting help now from Ryan Blaney. He's got Paul Menard in tow. He's got Daniel Suarez in tow. That third line materializing just a bit. That's led by Denny Hamlin.
It used to be a 9-car breakaway on that bottom lane, but now the outside, led by Kyle Busch, has inched its way forward. Matter of fact, it's now inched forward into a side-by-side battle for 4th.
That's where Martin Truex Jr. has the spot to the inside. Here's Kyle Busch in the outside lane. Got Kurt Busch down low, and then Ryan Blaney up high.
Chipping away lap after lap after lap. Kyle Busch in the outside lane. He's got a lot of help there. Ryan Blaney is there. Paul Menard. You've got Daniel Suarez. And now Denny Hamlin's going to break out of line and make it 3 wide as they go back to 1.
Hamlin's been the main experimenter in that extreme 3-wide lane. Now Brad Keselowski's going upstairs. Kyle Busch going upstairs. They're 3 wide from 5th on back.
Now Logano will take him to the safer barrier through 1 and 2. Instead of running the inside line that he's done since the dropping of the green flag, he'll go topside. Harvick, Keselowski, Blaney, all will go with them. That's the front 4.
As a result, Martin Truex Jr. is going to lose a couple of positions. He backslides from 4th into 6th. Up front, the leader, Joey Logano, closing in on slower traffic.
He is, Kurt, and they're going to go by the first of those slower cars. That'll be Quinn Houff. Keeps his car to the bottom of the racetrack. There's a 4-car draft running nose to tail. They'll take the outside lane. Logano and the rest of the leaders go to the bottom.
Lap traffic goes high. Logano, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, everybody jumping to the bottom of the racetrack to bypass that pack of 4 or 5 lap machines.
And by doing that, that'll thin out the herd. The front 9 are now single file, make it the front 10 as everybody continues to work to the inside of that pack of 4 lap cars on the outside of the racetrack.